Leave it up to one of my kids to start screaming as soon as I hit the go live button. Anyways, guess they're fine. Echo, stop. Hello, everybody. I wasn't sure if I should do a live or if I should just write a blog. I figured, fuck it, let's just do a live. So, today I figured something out that goes along with the whole let's talk about sex blog. And that would be the whole aspect of, hi, friends with benefits. I don't know if captions work on the live. If anybody knows, please let me know. So, friends with benefits, I've had a few. And here lately, when I started to kind of try to figure out what's going on with the whole sex and all that kind of stuff, I was also trying to figure out if having friends with benefits is like, what is it about? Oh, I'm sorry. Can I type on here while I'm doing a live? Hold on. I don't know how to write back on here. Can I write back on here? Carol? I'm sorry. Who else is watching? There's 2 people watching. Anyways, so here's the thing with friends with benefits. This is kind of what I've come to figure out. For those who might not be aware, friends with benefits is when you have a friendship with the benefit of sex. No strings attached, no commitment. You guys hang out like friends, you do whatever you want to do when you want to do it, and then you just kind of scatter on and spread your seat somewhere else. I've come to the conclusion that friends with benefits, even if the intent is, I'm not going to say pure because, well, there's nothing pure about friends with benefits, is there? Even if the intent is not to harm anybody, it still is harmful. Aside from the aspect of one of the people is probably going to end up having more feelings than the other one anyways, it's just that in order to have any kind of healthy relationship, whether it be just a regular friendship, a sexual relationship, a work type of relationship, relationships in the family, it doesn't matter what kind of ship, there has to be complete trust and open communication. You have to be able to be, like, you have to be able to disclose everything, right? And I mean, this is like, it's a fact. If you are in any kind of relationship and you cannot be 100%, you cannot be 100% authentic in who you are, and you cannot express what you need or what you want, then you are harming yourself because you're not being completely honest to yourself or them, right? So if you're in a relationship with a friend with benefits, it really just serves as like a hole filler, right? It's just like filling a void, right? We don't want to be alone. We don't want to have a bunch of one-night stands. We'd rather sleep with a friend because there is that level of trust there, but we don't want to commit. Why don't we want to commit? Because we're afraid. We're afraid to commit, so we go down the road of friends with benefits because, well, we don't have much to lose then, do we? If we don't dive 100% in, we're not going to have our hearts broken. That's the whole thought behind it, right? So if you're with somebody and you're having this friend with benefits connection, there is so much toxicity within that connection, even if you don't realize it, just because there is a lack of communication. There is no true communication. Now, when I had my friends with benefits, I would always make it a point to let them know I'm sleeping with other people. I never lied about it. I always told them I am sleeping with other people. Like, you only come around on the weekend. I got somebody else to come by during the week. I got somebody else if I'm having a really bad day. Like, I was always completely honest about that. But they were not always honest with me, which I didn't really care, you know, because I was honest and that's what mattered. At that point, now I'd be like, well, that was stupid of me. Like, I should have cared. I should have known who they were sleeping with or what they were doing. You know? Because if you're sleeping with somebody, you don't know if they're using protection with other people. You can transmit disease through oral sex too, so it's like, we should have made smarter choices. I should have definitely made smarter choices, right? A lot of us are lucky we don't end up with some crazy shit. I was one of the lucky people, I didn't end up with some crazy shit, especially given, the father of my girls. Very wild guy. He's got a lot of kids with different women because he wasn't safe, right? So, big risk. I've taken many risks. And I learned that with the whole friends with benefits thing, it was really some sort of self-defense mechanism trying to fool myself into thinking that that was enough. That it was enough to just have somebody to hang out with and be cool with and, have that whole sexual aspect involved with it. But it's still not the same as having that commitment, right? Because if you are sleeping with other people and they're sleeping with other people, there's a whole lot of energy in there. It's a whole lot of energy. So if you have a friend with benefits and you guys are sleeping with other people, then there's that energetic pull, right? To pull you guys away from each other. So say you have a friend with benefits and you guys are hitting it off on every single level. You think alike, right? You have the same morals, you got the same ethics, even if some of them seem kind of fucked up to other people, but you have a lot of similarities. You have a lot in common, and you guys are perceived by people who hear your story or see you as like a power couple, right? Because you guys are able to do a lot of great things together. You guys help each other grow. You help other people grow just by, having that influence with each other. It helps influence other people. So if you have those kind of connections, that really good and positive and loving and powerful connection, but you guys are having these other energies, these devil energies, on tarot terms, like these devil energies coming in to kind of pull them away, and they're stuck in this friend with benefits mode because they're afraid of commitment, because they're afraid of losing something or losing themselves or, afraid of change, then that energy is going to somehow come forth in this relationship, in the dynamic of the relationship that the two of you share. Automatic toxicity. Even if it doesn't seem like that, it's there. And on a deeper level, I think that we all feel that, which is why even though we have this friends with benefits connection, there's always a part of us that's like, something kind of feels off about it, right? Like on a deep soul level, that doesn't feel right. Because we know that we're sharing that energy, they're sharing that energy, and it's not healthy. So even if one of the people would actually, on a soul level, understand, if they understand at a deeper level that this connection really is the real thing, or could be the real thing, but they have this other energy, this meddling energy in the background. I'm not saying that the other person they might be with is a bad person. I'm just saying that the energy in itself, the energetic connection, is like tug of war, right? So you're here, and this other person is here, and then they got somebody else here, and you got somebody else over here, right? Then you have these two outer people tugging you, while you guys are still tugging, so you got you two with the good connection, the really good, healthy connection that could really grow into something amazing. And you both kind of know it, you're both pretty aware of it, but you don't really want to accept it quite yet because, well, if you accept it, you realize you're real stupid if you don't go for it, But once you reach that point where you're like, okay, well, let me see and try to get comfortable with the idea, but then you have these outsiders, these meddling energies, pulling you away from this connection that could possibly be the best fucking thing that could ever happen to you. It could be the best thing that could ever happen to you in your whole fucking life. And you're letting yourself get distracted. We get distracted, right? So we get distracted. We have these outside energies. Push and pull. Magnets, right? So it's not that the other people we're hanging out with, the other friends with benefits, are bad people or toxic people. It's just that the relationship in itself is toxic. Why? Because we are not completely honest. Somebody in this friends with benefits relationship, whether it be you, them, or one of the other people, somebody's lying. Somebody's not being completely truthful about their desires, about their needs, about their wants. Somebody's not being completely honest about, their sexual activities with other people. Somebody's not being completely honest about whether or not they're using protection. There's a lot of deceit in these friendships. So if you have a friend with benefits and you guys say we're not in a committed relationship because we don't have those feelings for each other, but we are friends, we love each other as friends, but we are going to be sleeping with other people, there's going to be automatic deceit somewhere in there, which means that your friendship is not a friendship to begin with either. You perceive it as a friendship because you hang out and you trust each other and you do stuff together and you have fun and, you know, you guys can talk about whatever. But there is deceit in there, and where there is deceit, there is toxicity. Where there is toxicity, it is not healthy. It is not love. It is not pure. It is not good for our soul. It might feel good to our ego, you know, to our body. Ooh, yeah, good sex, cool, awesome, bye, I don't need it, you know. That's great. But what does that do to our soul? It makes us feel a distance, right? It makes us feel kind of separate because we don't have that connection that we really want, that we really desire at a soul level. Whether we're able to admit that or not, it's just that is what it is. People are not meant to be alone. We choose to be alone out of fear. Because we fear that we might lose something or we might lose a part of ourselves. I lost myself. I lost myself giving everything I had to people who were not worthy of what I had to give. You know, they're worthy of love, but they were not worthy of what I had to give because they took it for granted, because they abused it, you know. So when you're going into any type of ship, any type of friendship, relationship, we should be in a state of mind where, one, we know exactly what we want, and two, we express exactly what we want. So if you're going into these friends with benefits relationships or one night stands or, you know, just random sexual type thing, if you're doing that with people because you feel like you have to have some sort of a physical connection, but you're not acknowledging the fact that we also need that mental and emotional and spiritual connection, you're just hurting yourself. We're all just hurting ourselves. And it took me so long to figure that out. Like, oh my gosh. So long to figure that out. And I'm still trying to, like, really figure it out and see if I'm explaining it right and, like, trying to piece it together because, like, it's really hard to talk about it without giving names and examples and shit. And, like, I don't want to do that, you know, because then I'm just, you know, getting other people's shit involved, which I don't want to do. So it's just, it's all a matter of perception and being completely honest. And if you cannot be completely honest with yourself, then how are you going to be completely honest with the people that you are spending your time with, that you are sharing your body with? And, you know, we do that again because of fear. Because, like, if I'm sleeping with somebody and I'm telling them, like, I really don't want us to sleep with other people. Not because of the emotions involved, but because of the risks that are involved. And, you know, they might just be like, okay, yeah, cool, but then still go off and do whatever they want, you know, or they're just going to be like, well, no. And then you're stuck at this point where you have to be like, okay, well, am I going to set a healthy boundary and say, okay, cool, then I'm not going to sleep with you anymore? Or are you going to, you know, let them walk all over you, basically? If they can't accept your boundaries, then it is not a healthy relationship. If they are not able to be completely open, full disclosure, what they're doing, with who they're doing it with, when they're doing it. You don't know if the guy you're sleeping with today slept with somebody else earlier that morning. You don't know that, right? He might still be coming over, being all nice and sweet and toot-toot-toot-toot, and then, you know, next thing you know, clothes are flying off, saliva's everywhere, right? You don't know that. So unless people are able to acknowledge the fact that they are harming themselves as well as others in these relationships, what are we even fucking doing? Like, what the hell are we doing? What are we doing? Why are we putting ourselves in positions where we're going to get hurt, where people are going to get hurt, where we have to be dishonest, where we have to be dishonest with ourselves, where we feel like we have to be dishonest to the other person because we don't want to hurt their feelings, when in reality, the dishonesty is what's going to hurt the most, right? And one of the reasons, like, I'm a very, very honest person. I always have been. I always try to speak my mind, and then eventually I just reached that point where I was like, it doesn't even matter what I say. That's part of the whole losing myself thing. Just, it don't even matter what I say. Nobody gives a fuck. I might as well just let everything happen as it happens. But the reason I am such an honest person overall is because when I was a kid and my parents got divorced, my dad showed up with a new woman very fast. Very fast. And later on I found out the reason he left us was because of her. Now, the thing that hurt me the most back then wasn't the fact that he left because of her. It was, you know, I mean, I was a young girl. Of course it hurt. But the thing that really got me the most, and this is the reason I was so mad at him for so many years. So I did not call my dad for like 5 or 6 years. I refused to call him dad. I refused to see him in that light, right? It wasn't that he left us. It was that he went and he got married and he lied about it. He did not tell us he was getting married. He introduced us to this woman. He told us, I think at Burger King it was at some fast food place. Burger King. And he was like, well, we're going to go to the States to go visit the family on a vacation for a couple weeks, you know. And me and my sister, we were like, well, we want to go visit the family. We haven't seen the family in forever. Like, yeah, I want to visit my family, you know. But he was like, well, no, it's already booked and everything. Okay, fine, whatever. So my dad takes her. They go to Florida. Go visit family. And while he's gone, my mother and I are talking. And I remember she was in the basement. We were cleaning something up in the basement. And she goes, and I say, well, yeah, I wanted to go on vacation with my dad. Like, why couldn't we go? And she stops and she looks at me. And she's completely shocked. She's like, he didn't go on vacation. He got to get married. He went to get married. And, like, my world fucking shattered, right? I was like, what do you mean he went to get married? Like, he didn't even tell me. He felt the need to lie to his children about the fact that he was getting married, you know. So he comes back from the States married, and they're moving into housing, and we got, you know, split custody and going back and forth and dealing with this woman who, you know, she had a lot of great things about her, but ultimately I couldn't stand her because, well, there was a lot of, she's a very hypocritical person. You know, she's a not very happy person, and she likes to, you know, that if you're not happy on the inside, it's going to come out on the outside, and, you know, there's a lot of unresolved trauma in her life, and now I'm not worried about it because, well, that's her life, and she chose to do what she did and treat people the way she wanted to, and that's something that she's going to have to deal with herself, you know. So, number one lesson I learned very young in life was don't fucking lie because it hurts. Don't do that to people. So, yes, I have lied, of course. I'm a really good liar at that. I can lie like crazy. I'm really good at it. You know, but, like, I don't encourage it. Unless you're like, you know, like, I would lie to save other people's ass. Or save my own ass on occasion. If I had to lie, I would lie. But I don't lie with the intent to harm people. You know, I would lie with the intent to, like, save our asses, right? But I'm not going to lie with the intent to hurt someone. I'm not going to lie about something that's going to come out anyways. So if I'm in any kind of friendship or relationship and, you know, somebody's like, if they're really concerned about your well-being, they're going to want you to be honest. They're going to appreciate your honesty. They're going to acknowledge your needs. And they're going to be honest about whether or not that's something they can do. Anyway. So I just feel like we're all adults, or most of us at least. I don't know how old everybody is in my thing. We make the choice, you know, to be with these people. We make the choice to not commit. We make the choice to settle for less, thinking it's good enough. But if we don't go within and get real deep into our darkness and our fears, you know, to find that light in there, that hope, that what do we really want, you know, what's the good thing on all of this? We're just going to keep going in these cycles, this whole fucking cycle of, you know, one fucked up relationship after another, one traumatic event after another, one painful breakup, yeah, because it's not a breakup if you're not a couple, but it's still a breakup. Because if you're hanging out and you're going on dates and you're sleeping with each other and you're doing all of this stuff, it's still a relationship. It might not have a title. It might not be a publicly known thing, but it is still a relationship. So if that relationship changes dynamic out of the blue, or if one of the people starts to pull away from the other without any real explanation, other than, well, we were just friends with benefits, so it doesn't matter if I, you know, start to hang out with this person more, if I have feelings for this person, like, I don't really have to tell you because, well, we were just friends with benefits. There's no commitment. There's no strings attached. There are always strings attached because it's energy and we're all connected energetically. And if you are doing something like that and you don't feel like shit about yourself, then it's time to look in the mirror. Because if we're doing that, we're hurting others, we're hurting ourselves, and it makes us shitty people. I've done it. I've hurt plenty of people. I've hurt people. And like, I knew I was doing it. But I was so caught up in what I wanted, it didn't matter what they wanted. So if they were like, oh, well, I want a relationship with you, and I was like, yeah, I don't want that. Why did I not want that? It wasn't that they weren't good people. It wasn't that they were not, super sweet. This one dude, man, he came over every weekend. He'd buy shit for Joshua. He'd bring me gifts. He'd take care of me and Josh. He wanted to go take us places and do fun things. And I treated him like shit. I was like, no, I don't want to. I don't want to. It didn't matter what he wanted. It didn't matter that he needed something from me. All that mattered was that he came and he did what I needed him to do. And then he fucking left. That's like really fucked up. But that's what we do. That's what one of the parties is doing in these types of relationships. One of us is putting our needs first and not worrying about how it's going to affect the other person, mentally, emotionally, physically, maybe. So, as much as we have this whole need to be with somebody on a physical level, we should really be thinking about, are we able to have full disclosure? Are we able to be 100% honest about what we want and need? And are they able to accept that? Are they able to acknowledge your boundaries? Are they able to give you what you really need? Because if you're not honest, then it's only your fault. If I'm not honest about what I need, about what I want. Hi, this is Mama Yolanda. If you're not able to tell them exactly what you need and what you want, then that's just going to put you in a position where you're unhappy. You're going to be unhappy because you're not being honest. They're going to be unhappy because if you're around somebody who's unhappy, guess what? You're going to be unhappy, right? So then you're going to have yourself in this toxic thing, in this toxic cycle where nobody wants to speak up. Nobody wants to let go because it's convenient, right? It's convenient to have a friend with benefits with the assumption that there are no strings attached. But yeah, there's strings attached. There's always strings attached. And there's a whole lot more because you got strings attached to that person, and they got strings attached to this, and this person. And then all those strings come together, make a big old knot. And at some point, somebody's going to want to get out of that knot, and it's going to cause a disruption. Because if it affects one person, it's going to affect all of them. Because you are me and I am you. And if I'm sleeping with you and you're sleeping with them, and them, well, then I'm sleeping with them, and them too. And if I'm sleeping with this guy and this guy, then you're sleeping with this guy and this guy. Because we all have some sort of effect on somebody. So if we have friends with benefits, because we choose not to be in a committed relationship because we're afraid of losing some kind of connection that we have with other people or with ourselves, or, we'd rather just not commit because, well, that way we don't have to worry about it not working out, Can't get a divorce if you don't get married, right? But if we can't do that... Okay. Is it in a video? Are you going live or what? It doesn't show me if you're writing, so I'll just keep talking. Yolanda's talking about the Save the Children movement, which I had talked about in the first video. But if you go and you do research on the things that Trump has been putting in effect this whole time, which most people don't even know about, he's been fighting this the whole time. No, no video. You should do a video. Your energy's so beautiful. I love watching your videos. It's like home. But yeah, so if you're in a relationship with somebody, any kind of relationship, doesn't have to be sexual, doesn't have to be romantic. Oh, it's for me? Okay. My bad. We'll talk when I'm done here. Are you busy? I can call when I'm done. It's not going to be much longer. But yeah, so, point is, stupid fly, stop it. If you are having these types of relationships, or you're having any kind of friendship where you feel like you cannot be completely honest about what you need or what you want, you know. And I'm not saying like tell people they need to make you happy, because no, if you're not happy, they're not going to make you happy. Oh yeah, I know about that. I heard about that. Yeah, estrogen in the chicken, right? And the milk, I believe. There was an episode on The Simpsons. There was an episode on The Simpsons about that too, wasn't there? I think I don't know who it was, but one of them grew boobs. Yeah. Yeah, that's why I actually prefer being in Germany. One of the reasons I prefer being here is because we don't have all that shit in our food. Oh, but they did have to shut down 2 major meat sales places here because of COVID. I think one of them was beef and one of them was chicken. So we got 2 major meat farms shut down right now. I started mine when I was 10. Yeah, that makes sense. Totally off topic here. Yeah, I started mine when I was 10. My sister, I think, was 11, I want to say. But yeah, definitely too young. Terrifying. I think about my little girls. Kyrie's going to be 7 this year, and I'm like, yeah, I would not be okay with her getting her period in a couple of years. Like, I'm not ready for that. She's not ready for that, you know? Yeah. Yeah, the hormones are not good. You're fine. Anyways, so when we are in these relationships and we are not able to really express what we need or what we want, it's going to be a toxic relationship. It's going to be a toxic relationship. Whether it be toxic for you or the other people or other person, because somebody is not able to get exactly what they want. Somebody is not able to get exactly what they need. They might not even be aware of what they really want or what they really need because they're so distracted by the bond that they have with this other person or other people, you know, these I don't know what my kids are doing out there. What are you doing? They're over there hooting and hollering. But yeah, so like, I keep getting the word manufactured for some reason. Like it's a manufactured relationship. It's not real. It's not real. If you have to wear some kind of mask, if you have to hide anything from them or from yourself, because if we hide it from ourselves, it's that much easier to hide it from other people, right? If I don't tell myself, hey, Jenna, this is really what you want, then it's going to be really easy for me to not tell another person this is what I really want. Why? Because I'm hiding it from myself. I would rather not face that part of myself. I would rather not deal with the fact that I might get rejected, you know? So when we don't allow ourselves to be completely honest, we're putting ourselves in toxic relationships. We're putting ourselves in positions where we hurt ourselves. And it might not be right away. You could be friends with benefits for a month, a year, whatever, and be totally content. But at some point, something or someone is going to come along that's going to shake you the fuck up. And you're going to be like, hold up, now I'm sitting here and I have to make a choice between this relationship, yeah, with no strings attached, that's been serving me perfectly fine this whole time. But I'm going to have to choose. Because you can't have both, really, right? You can't be friends with benefits and then, you know, allow yourself to actually fall in love and be in a healthy relationship with somebody else, because that friend with benefits, whatever that connection was, yeah, if you're in a relationship, you can still have your friends. But respect, you know, having respect for the person you're with, that would require you to change the dynamic of your friendship with these other people. Now, if I'm in a relationship and I've been sleeping with somebody, I'm not going to be hanging out with that person anymore if I'm in a relationship, out of respect for the man that I'm with. I'm not going to put myself in a situation where I am alone with some dude so that, you know, people can talk bullshit, talking about, oh, well, she's alone with him, they're probably doing something. You don't put yourself in those kinds of positions when you're in a committed relationship. So, you know, that whole friends with benefits thing, it might serve a purpose for a little bit, but deep down, it's not what we really want. It's not what we're meant to want. It's not how we are wired, because in a friends with benefits relationship, you're not able to grow the way we're meant to grow. You're not able to support each other the way we're meant to support each other. Like when I see my friends, you know, how we're all on this path, right? We're all on this path to ascension, which basically is just growth. It's evolving. It's expanding your fucking horizons. It's finding out more about yourself and other people and the world, and just learning how to be a decent human being. Learning how to function at a level of love. That's all the ascension is. That's what that is. It's learning how to love and being that. Being in that space, in that heart space of giving unconditional love without anything expected in return. That's what the ascension is, okay? And in order to do that, we have to learn very specific lessons. We have to learn very specific lessons. And, perception. Because you have to shift your perception. Because in order to understand other people, you have to understand that they might be getting the exact same messages as you, but from a different perception. Therefore, they word it differently. They explain it differently, right? It's like if you look at the, oil of Christ within the spine, and you look at the Kundalini rising, they are the exact same thing, but from a different perspective, right? So that's one of the big lessons when it comes to the ascension process, right? To learning how to be love, you have to learn perception. You have to learn forgiveness. You have to learn how to really forgive yourself, because then you can really forgive others, right? If I can't forgive myself, how the hell am I supposed to forgive somebody else? I can say I forgive them, but it's a whole different feeling when you realize you really did forgive them, because that weight is gone, because it doesn't make you want to cry or be angry or anything like that. There is no intense emotional response, because that dense energy has been released because you learned forgiveness. Acceptance, also a really big lesson in the ascension process. You have to learn acceptance. You have to learn to accept yourself. You have to learn to accept others. You have to learn to accept your truth, to acknowledge it. We have to acknowledge our worth. That's another one. Acknowledge your worth. All of these things in my blogs that turned out to all be in the book of Matthew. We have to go through specific lessons. The ascension isn't just like, oh, I'm going to be like Christ and boop, you're like Christ. No, you have to learn all of the lessons. We got to learn all of them. And we got to work through every bit of darkness that we have within us in order to learn these lessons. We can't just say, oh, I'm going to love everybody and love everybody. No, I can say I love somebody, but to truly, genuinely feel that love, we have to get to that point. We have to get to that point to understand what real love really is. And that begins with learning how to love ourselves, accepting ourselves, acknowledging our needs, setting healthy boundaries, forgiving ourselves, forgiving others, acknowledging our worth. It's a process. The ascension is a process. And when I see how my friends and I, my soul tribe, we help each other ascend, right? It's like a tick, 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 tick. There's always somebody right here, and somebody right here. And we're just pulling each other up. We're pulling each other up. We're serving as triggers to each other. We trigger each other. We don't realize that's what we're doing. I realize when I do it, but during the process. I'll trigger them, and then the thing will happen, and I'll be like, that was a trigger moment. Okay, cool. I'll recognize that. Why? Because I serve as a trigger. Shadow doula. Aw, it is a beautiful life. It's so cool. I love this adventure that we're on right now. The Hobbit is on her adventure. But yeah, so I watch and I see how we all, a ripple effect. Exactly. A ripple effect, domino effect. Exactly. And that's what that is. We help each other. So, but that's how you know that that's a healthy relationship. That is a healthy friendship. That is what is supposed to be. That's how it's supposed to be. We're supposed to help each other grow, right? And yeah, maybe we might piss each other off, that happens. But we all get back to that point where we're like, oh, I see why that had to happen. I understand why we had to have this, just adventure. I understand why we had to have this, argument, this conflict, right? I understand why we had this conflict. This conflict was to serve growth. And a lot of people are not able to do that. A lot of people aren't able to do that because they fear conflict. They fear conflict because it could lead to rejection. And, hi PJ, and if we fear conflict and we fear rejection, that's just going to keep us in that cycle of fear and rejection and conflict, right? Because it's an internal thing, and that expresses itself to the, external world that we live in. So, if you have friends with benefits, and you guys are in the tug of war of energetic exchange between you and other people, and you finally reach that point where you realize, I'm not being completely honest with myself. therefore I'm not being completely honest with them, you will realize that it is toxic. It is toxic. And then you have to make a choice. You have to make a choice to choose to have your healthy boundaries, choose to still be friends with them, still sleep with them. Like, everything comes down to choice, right? Free will. We can choose to acknowledge all of this and still sleep with people. We can choose to acknowledge it and decide to not sleep with people, or just sleep with one person. But then again, if you're only sleeping with that one person, and that person is all in the whole no strings attached, yada 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 mindset, not realizing that there are always strings attached because it's sex, then it's just going to go on and it's another cycle. It's a whole other cycle. So, like, what's the best thing to do, right? Express your needs, your wants, your desires. Listen to their needs and their wants and their desires. And if you guys are not able to come to a healthy conclusion where both parties are like, okay, you know, maybe we're not going to be in a committed relationship right away. We can take things slow, but, you know, maybe we should stop sleeping with other people, because that energy is going to pull you guys apart. Even if you have this amazing connection, any type of outside energy, especially if there's sex involved, is going to pull away from that connection. It's going to distract you guys from each other. And when it comes to these bonds, yeah, especially if there's a spiritual bond, an emotional bond, like, if it's all there, but you are allowing other things to distract you, you might miss that. You might miss the opportunity to be with somebody who can not only grow as an individual by themselves, but who you get to watch grow even more because of the connection you guys have. You know? What? Fine. Popsicle. Yeah, go ahead. My kids. They know that if mommy's working, they can get away with junk food. So, and they always send the 2-year-old, you know, the 2-year-old wants ice cream. Well, eat your dang ice cream. It's fine. But yeah, so we have to really be able to acknowledge what we need as individuals. We have to be able to be happy by ourselves. We have to understand that our happiness is not dependent on other people. My happiness is not dependent on how other people think about me, how they feel about me, whether or not they want a friendship with me, a relationship with me. Like, it doesn't matter. Yeah, as a human being, it hurts if we have rejection, but at a soul level, I am content knowing that if somebody rejects me, it's only because the universe, source, God, Krishna, Shiva, yeah, you know, Kali Mata, that's her name. I like her. But, like, it's just making space, you know, just making space for somebody who will acknowledge and accept and appreciate the fact that I can speak up, that I'm honest, you know? And sometimes it just takes us a little bit to really get down to the bottom of what we want. Sometimes we're not sure. We think we know, and we're going like, oh yeah, epiphany! And then, you know, a couple of weeks later, we're like, no, wait, I think there's more. And then you dig a little bit deeper, and then you go, yeah, there's definitely more down here. So you just keep doing the work. Just keep doing the work. Shadow work does not end. It never ends. Why? Because life keeps going on. New things come up that trigger old things that you didn't know were there, right? But it's beautiful and it's fun. I love it. It's fun as shit, because the more I get to know myself, the more I get to know others. The more I get to know others, the more compassion I have, the more I understand them, the less likely I am to judge. Although there's some real dumb people. I see some real stupid shit where I'm like, ooh, that's hard. That's hard. You know, but it's okay, because I've done some real stupid shit too. So I'm like, it is what it is, right? We do dumb shit. But yeah, you know, and we learn how to love. We learn how to love from a perception of, you know, unconditional love. No expectations. Just love them. Just love ourselves. It's okay to love ourselves. We have to love ourselves. Because if we don't love ourselves, we're not open to love. If I don't love me, then I'm closing myself off from love to love from other people. Why? Because if I don't love me, I can't accept love for myself. sure as shit can't expect it, you know, I can't accept it from anybody else then. So we put ourselves in situations because we don't love ourselves. We cannot accept love from others. And we put ourselves in these situations where we're like, this is enough. This is good. I have somebody to feel some sort of connection with, to have the physical pleasure, to have the fun and the, you know, conversations, but there is no commitment, so I don't have to worry about being rejected at some point. Like, I don't have to worry about them, you know, breaking my heart. But here's the thing. It doesn't take a commitment to break a heart. Does not take a commitment to break a heart. And these are just things that I'm kind of, you know, figuring out as I go along in life. And since I share everything, here I am. I really didn't feel like trying to type it all up and explaining it because I was like, I didn't want to. If anybody knows how to get captions on my videos, please let me know so that Carol can read the captions. Like, I turned them on one of them. I didn't know if it worked. I don't know. If somebody knows how to do it, please let me know. There are people that follow my page who have a hard time hearing. So, my neighbor's learning sign language, but she's not good enough yet to actually stand behind me and do the thing. But I already told her, I was like, oh, you're learning sign language. That's practical. I told her, keep learning, I'm going to need you. So yeah, if anybody knows how to get the captions going, please let me know. If anybody is in a relationship where they feel like they're not able to really express their needs, where their needs are not being met, and I don't mean the whole you need to make me happy thing. I mean, like, you know, the energetic part of it, yeah, the energy, the balance, the ability to use this fly, the ability to just be who you are, authentic you, and understand that they will do whatever they can do. You're learning sign language too, that's awesome. That they will do whatever they can do to try to make you happy. You know, like, you're already happy, but if their intent is to make you happy, yes, you can. If their intent is to make you happy, and they try to make you happy, even with little things, even if it takes a bit. Hi, Jen. Then that is going towards a healthy thing, you know? Because if they want to make you happy and you tell them, well, us being whores isn't making me happy, then they might be like, okay, cool, so let's stop being whores. Excuse the language, but we all know I got a dirty mouth. You know. It is. I tried learning it when I was a kid, but I didn't have the patience. I did not have the patience to learn sign language, just like I didn't have the patience to learn Spanish. I know a little bit of Greek, because I trained my dog in Greek. Yeah, that's it. And German. Yeah, German is fluent, because I grew up here. So yeah, but that's all it really is. It's just, in order to have healthy relationships, we have to be completely honest with who we are, what we want, what we need, at a soul level, you know, not just physical. And I guess the shadow work exercise would be to just really think about the relationships we have. Just think about the connections that we have. The YouTube videos for sign language, I'm assuming, right? But yeah, just think about the relationships that you have. I love you too. Mwah. Whether or not you are really able to be authentic in who you are and what you need. If you're able to really express, not only to them, but to yourself, this is something I'm not okay with. Or this is something I would rather, you know, I would rather have this way and this way, this way for this and this reason. You know? Because like I said, if you have a friend with benefits, if you are in this kind of relationship, there's never going to be full disclosure. Because one of them, or both of them, or all 15 of them, since we don't know how many people are sleeping with how many other people, somebody's always going to feel like it's better they just don't say anything at all. You know, if I'm sleeping with 12 guys, and they all know I'm sleeping with 12 guys, but I meet guy number 13, and he would, you know, and he really likes me a lot, and then I feel like, well, I shouldn't tell him I'm sleeping with 12 other guys because I don't want to hurt his feelings. Well, that's a really fucked up thing to do, right? So if you can't have super honest and open communication, that's toxic. Even if it feels like it's not, it still is. Because somebody is lying. Because somebody is not able to express what they really need. Because somebody is too closed up within themselves to open up to actual commitment and love because, well, there's too much fear. They have all this fear going around. Their fear of rejection, the fear of commitment, the fear of loss, the fear of change. But if we don't allow ourselves to grow... Yeah, 12 guys. I mean, I don't know. 12 guys would be a lot. Even in my wildest days, I wouldn't have been able to pull that off. I'd have been like, oh, hell no. Hell no. I don't like people that much. I don't know. I'm just throwing numbers out there, I'd be a busy ass motherfucker though. You got 12 friends with benefits. Yeah, that's a lot. So you'd have like a different person every day and then like 2 days in between, like where you take a break, I guess. I don't know. Like every Saturday is your day off. I don't know. But yeah, so that's the thing, is that somebody is always going to be deceitful. Whether they do it with the intent to harm or not, the deceit is there. The lies are there. The secrets are there. And nobody wants that. Nobody wants to be lied to. Nobody wants to feel like they're, just somebody else to hang out with when the others aren't available. Which is kind of what it comes down to, right? If you have, these friends with benefits, there's always 1, 2, 3 on the list. And I can say this because I had my 1, 2, and 3 on the list. I had my number one person to always call. I had my backup, and I had my backup. I always had people. I always had somebody to be able to call, and if you have your favorite person, right? Or the person that you've been hanging out with the longest, and then somebody new comes along, and they might be a better fit for you. They might be a better fucking match in all of the ways. But you're too caught up in this old energy, this what you're used to allow yourself to open up to something different. So you got these energies, these meddling energies, yanking you guys back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Now if you cut all the other people out, just cut them all out for 2-3 weeks and just focus on that one person that you already know is able and willing to grow with you individually and together, and you guys are able to be that kind of power couple together, wouldn't it be the smart choice to kind of let go of that fear, cut off the meddling energies, enjoy your food, your num-nums, what you having? Are you having eggs and bacon, or have you gone vegan? I don't know. I don't keep up with everybody's diet, so I don't know. But yeah, so, if we were smart enough, if we were to make smart choices, looking into the future of, what we could possibly do together as a team, then we should cut the other energies off. I'm not saying be an asshole. I'm not saying be a dick, treat them like shit. I'm just saying set boundaries where you say, hey, I met this person. We have a really good connection. We should probably see where this goes because, well, we're all adults, and at some point we kind of got to get our heads out of our asses. So instead of having 15 people to do 15 different types of activities with, you find the one person that you can do all those things with, and you can grow with, and you can enjoy life with, and go on an epic adventure and collect jars of dirt, right? So, shadow work. Go within and make a list. Be honest with yourself. Make a list of what you really want. What do you really want? What kind of friendships do you want? What kind of relationship do you want? What kind of commitment do you want? What are you able to give? Are you able to give that? Are you able to give what it is that you want? Because if you cannot give what you want, then you're not ready to receive it. We have to be able to give what we want, or we're not able to receive it. We will not accept it for what it is. We will take it for granted. We will abuse it in some kind of way, and the person will get hurt. So we have to go within, and we have to acknowledge what it is we really want, and whether or not we're able to also give that. And then if you want to take it a step further, talk to the people that you are in these relationships with, and set your boundaries. And tell them, look, this is what we're doing. This is what I feel would be a better thing to probably do, or consider, or communicate. And, you know, see how many of them stick around. See how many stick around. See how many make an effort to do what's best for, you know, your connection, your bond, your friendship, you know, your heart. Are they able to make you a priority if that's something you want? Are they able to move forward, even if it's slow, even if it's little things, you know? Make sure you acknowledge the little things. Tell them you acknowledge them, let them know. Otherwise, they feel like they're doing everything for nothing. You know, I see when change is there. I point it out. I'm grateful. It's so cute. You know? So, make your list. What do I want? What do I really, really want? Be completely honest. It might hurt, because you might realize that you've been going against what you want for a really long time. But write down what you want. And then write down if you're able to give that, so that you can receive it. And if you realize you can't give it, then make another list. Why can't I give it? What toxic traits do I have? What pain do I have that needs to be resolved for me to be able to give what I actually want? Right? And then just keep digging from there. It's fun. It is, you know. That's all. Set your boundaries. Set your boundaries. But in order to set boundaries, you have to be completely honest with yourself. You have to go within. You got to figure out what you want. You got to see where you're not able to, you know, be or give what you want yourself, and how to fix that. Because we cannot expect things if we can't give them. I cannot expect somebody to respect my boundaries if I cannot respect their boundaries. I cannot expect somebody to not judge me if I'm not able to not judge them. I cannot expect somebody to not sleep with other people if I'm still sleeping with other people. So yeah, go within, have fun, get all up in there, and start setting those healthy boundaries. You know, let the universe kind of weed out your garden of friends and ships that you got, because it's 2020 and everybody's being exposed, and it serves a purpose. You know, the more people that fall away now, the sooner they fall away. The ones who don't serve our growth, who don't serve as a beacon of light in our lives, well, the sooner they fall away, the sooner we make space, we make room for the ones who do all that. You know? You cannot get new if you don't remove old. And it could be painful. It is painful, sure. You know, you could have a friend for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, I don't know. And then you realize, well, this friendship is not, it's not serving a purpose of love anymore. And that's fine. You know, it doesn't mean you have to be angry or anything. It's just sometimes people separate, they outgrow each other. But you have to acknowledge that. And then you have to, you know, be able to make that space for other people to come in. And this is all the ships, right? And it all starts with understanding that the energies are all connected, that there are always strings attached, that there is always some sort of pain going to come through any kind of ship that is not completely authentic, completely honest, full disclosure, especially if there's sex involved. The kids are laughing out there playing. So yeah, that's all. Do your shadow work. Go within. Heal and love yourself and love others, and watch your world become heaven on earth. Because it's magical as fuck. I love it. Absolutely love it. And it's little things that you don't even pick up on at first. And then when you start to notice it, you're like, oh shit, that's so cool. Like, this happened. My life is magical. Alright, well, this hobbit is going to go deal with the other hobbits. So, I love you guys. Do your shadow work. Heal. Love yourself. Acknowledge your worth. All of the things. Bye.